Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weather forecast. Today I'm going to be covering the weather for November 21st of 2023, and currently we have a slight risk for the Florida Panhandle, southeastern Alabama, and western Georgia, with a marginal threat that extends up across the Atlantic Basin as far north as southern Virginia there. As for our threats for today, we do have a 5% tornado threat for the slight risk area, and that's going to be our primary threat, fueling that slight risk region, as well as a 2% tornado threat extending up the rest of the marginal threat. And then we also have a 5% wind threat, so we could see some damaging winds as well, but we aren't really expected to see all that much hail for today. But if we take a look at some of the future outlooks for tomorrow, we currently have a marginal threat issued for for eastern North Carolina there along the coast. The threats for that currently are a 2% tornado threat and a 5% wind threat, with not really all that much of a hail threat. But for our day 3 outlook, which I do believe is Thanksgiving, there are currently no forecasted areas for any organized severe thunderstorms or general thunderstorms. So that did come right in time for Thanksgiving. Taking a look at our WPC outlook, starting off with our excessive rainfall forecast. For today, we currently have a marginal threat for the Appalachian region into the Atlantic Basin, where we are expected to see our severe thunderstorms for today, and that does extend a little bit more towards the north of that as well. Uh, However, for tomorrow, up to our day 5 forecast, for day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5, we currently don't have any forecasted areas for flash flooding. Uh, Taking a look at our winter weather outlook, we are expected to see quite a bit of heavy snow for the New England corridor, as well as the possibility of maybe some light heavy snow. But overall, the snow should be light for western Montana there. Let's take a look at our front analysis. Um, as of right now, we currently have that cold front that is continuing to propagate eastward. That is going to continue eastward over the next couple of hours, and that is going to be what's triggering our severe thunderstorms for today. Taking a look at our weather model, starting off with our 500 millibars like we usually do, you can see currently we already have a tornado warning for southeastern Alabama, with a report of a tornado already on the ground. So it does just go to show that the atmosphere is already prime and ready for tornadic development. We can actually take a look at that really quickly, as it is in very close proximity to the radar site. Um, you can see very well defined hook echo. It's not too defined, but you can see it is fairly defined. If you take a look at our velocity really quickly, pretty good rotation. That would indicate a rotating updraft in tornadic development. And then as for our correlation coefficient, it's kind of hard to see, but it does look like there may be a little bit of a correlation coefficient drop right there, indicating that a tornado's on the ground. There was a better and more defined correlation coefficient drop, though, that was definitely standing out much more than what that may be. So there was a tornado at the on the ground, at least at some point with this storm. But then let's switch back to our 500 millibars really quickly. Um, you can see that we still have that trough that triggered significant severe thunderstorms yesterday and led to quite a few tornadoes for the Mississippi River Valley. That trough's going to continue to push eastward and support the threat for severe thunderstorms, but that cold front that's going to continue pushing eastward is going to trigger it, and storms have mostly organized into a line along that cold front, and we could possibly see some damaging straight lines winds with that as well, and the threat for some embedded tornadoes. And we are expected to see quite a bit of directional shear carryover from the event from yesterday. But you can see some fairly good veering of the winds. It's not the best, especially compared to yesterday. But especially with the directional shear that we had yesterday, and the strength of the trough and the minimal amount of veering of the winds that we have right now, we could definitely see quite a bit of directional shear to support the threat for a few tornadoes in this area. Taking a look at our composite reflectivity, I'm going to be taking a look at our composite reflectivity so you guys can get an idea of when and where we should be able to see our severe thunderstorms for today. So as of right now, this is currently an ongoing threat, and you can see some of these higher areas for reflectivity, and that is going to be indicating our severe thunderstorms in the slight risk area. Um, Those are going to spread out a little bit more over the next couple of hours and mostly enter into the Georgia area, anywhere from central Georgia to southwestern Georgia, and around 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. as they really spread out there and really lose their organization. It shouldn't really be all too severe anymore. It should just be some remaining rain showers overnight. In central southern Alabama there, with a line of rain showers that's going to be extending up along the Atlantic coast. Um, but then let's take a look at the timing for our snowstorms. As of right now, we are seeing quite a bit of activity already ongoing as far as snow. We are expected to see quite a bit of sleet mixed in with that as well. And as for the timing for snow, we are expected to see our snowstorms enter the New Hampshire area around around 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and really just give a ton of snow to the area. It should enter Maine around 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. and continue overnight into the early morning as some sleet and very heavy snow there. You can see on our composite reflectivity getting up to 30-40 dBz of snowfall. That is going to be very, very heavy snow for the New England corridor there. And then again, we are also expected to see some snow for the Northwest as well. Taking a look at your dew points, you can see because of how that trough is positioned and its proximity to the Gulf of Mexico, that is going to keep flow out of the south-southwest, which is going to continuously replenish moisture to the southwest here, or sorry, southeast, and should provide quite a bit of instability overnight to support those severe thunderstorms with dew points are going to be ranging anywhere from the low 70s to the mid and to the upper and mid 60s. We should see fairly moderate instability across this area. It's not really going to be too crazy, but it should be fairly moderate and enough to support the threat for severe thunderstorms. Taking a look at our temperatures, you can see for the area we are going to have fairly similar temperatures to our dew points, ranging anywhere from the low 70s into the mid 60s. But then let's take a look at some of our more widespread temperatures. Because of that cold front that is propagating across the east, that is going to push a northerly flow out of Canada here, and that's going to be allowing for some fairly cold temperatures that could be getting below freezing tonight for the northern Midwest and some of the central plain states. And we are also expected to see temperatures that could be below freezing tonight as well for the New England corridor. Um, so that's something to be watching out for as far as temperatures. And then as that cold front continues to progress eastward, should make things fairly chilly around Thanksgiving. Taking a look at our instability, you can see that our instability is going to be fairly modest, but it is going to be enough to support the threat for a few tornadoes across this region because of the amount of directional shear that we have. Again, overall instability is not the greatest, but it should be able to support the threat for a few tornadoes and the threat for damaging winds. Taking a look at our energy helicity index values, you can see that we do have some fairly modest energy helicity index values as well. Our energy helicity index values may be a little bit modest, but they will be supportive and indicative of that 5% tornado threat, especially near the Gulf where we are seeing a constant supply of instability. Again, that should be that is going to be fairly indicative of the threat for a few tornadoes. And then you can see that we do have a couple spotty areas outside of the slight risk area in the 2% tornado threat area, which could be indicative of that 2% tornado threat, where we could possibly see some weaker tornadic development outside of the slight risk area as well. Taking a look at our total snowfall accumulation, today in the New England corridor, we could possibly see up to 10 to 12 inches of snow at the maximum, but overall it does look like the average widespread is probably going to be ranging anywhere from 3 inches to 6 inches in the New England corridor. But then we can also take a look at the other area that we were expected to see a light amount of heavy snow for. That's going to be around Idaho and Montana, where it does look like the average for snowfall is probably going to be anywhere from less than an inch to possibly up to 2 inches. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator and join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. If you live in any of the areas that I covered for today, please stay weather alert. And if you notice anything might have been wrong with this forecast, or you'd like to make a suggestion or ask a question, please leave a comment. Two other channels that I highly suggest you check out are One Nation Weather and Weather Watcher. Their links to their channels will be in the description. They are amazing at what they do. And hopefully I should be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.